This started with 2000 naira?
Yes, everything you see here started with 2000 naira.
Wow. What's up guys, how are you doing today? It's Taya Aino here again, and today I have a very special story to share with you guys. How many of you guys know this drink? It's called Wilson's Lemonade. I've been drinking it for like about the past couple years, and it was started by two Nigerian brothers. And today we're going to be meeting one of those brothers, and he's going to be sharing the story about how they came about this very interesting idea. You know when life gives you lemon, you make lemonade. And also, I'm going to be giving this away to somebody at the end of this video. I signed it. There's a signature on it, Taya Aino, specially delivered. You have to live in Lagos, Nigeria though. So comment below if you want to win this. Thank you. Let's jump right in. So guys, finally we got to our destination, and I'm currently here beside the co-founder of Wilson's Lemonade, Mr. Seyi Abolaji. How did this get started?
So I moved back to Nigeria.
Oh, you moved back. Where were you before then?
In the States. I went to school in California at Stanford University, and then I actually just came back to visit. But when I came back to visit, I felt like, hey, this is where I need to be. Because I have many aunties and uncles in the States that there's always a 2-year plan. In the next 2 years, I'm going back home.
Oh,
and
really?
20, 30 years later, they're still in the next 2 years. So I didn't want to become one of those. So I just bought a one-way ticket back. I said, by the time I get back, I'll figure out what I want to do. My mom was just like, well, you know, we support you. My father was just like, are you crazy? Like, by the time I came back, took over a business that I thought was running, failed at that after a couple of years. And I was left with, you know, either go back home, call mom and dad to see if they could help me, or try to find something else to do. And so being a former athlete, was used to living a healthy lifestyle. It was actually very difficult to find anything natural to eat, anything natural to drink. Somebody gave me some orange juice, and I was like, this is not orange juice. So the idea came up to make fresh squeezed orange juice. And I was living right by a university, Covenant University at that point in time. So I went on campus, asked one of the ladies that was running one of the cafeterias there, Mrs. Johnson, thank you. And she gave us an opportunity to pay rent at the end of the month. So we started making fresh squeezed orange juice on the campus there.
Oh, so this started inside Covenant University?
Yeah, inside, yeah, cafeteria too. Having come here and knowing I failed at my first business, I really couldn't call mom and dad and say, hey, I failed. And I just figured before I pack up and go back home, US was still home at that point in my head, let me try something else. It was a 2,000 naira investment, had a little plastic juicer, 700 naira.
But this started with 2000 naira?
Yes, everything you see here started with 2,000 naira.
Wow.
A naira and a dream is what my partner, who happens to be my older brother, Sean, always says. This is a naira and a dream. So we had a naira and a dream, and we've been able to start with that. Went from fresh squeezed orange juice to smoothies, and then by the time we started off with lemonade, that's when things really took off. We just kept on looking for opportunities. My brother's a pharmacist by training. I studied history and philosophy. So what we've been doing with this whole business is just looking for opportunities. You know, I was still going to the market by myself at that point in time. Owoode Day Market is where we saw the lemons just sitting there, and it was just like, you know, when life throws you lemons, make lemonade, grab some lemons. My partner happened to be in town at that point in time. You know, he was working in New York. So he initially would come for a week and then go back. And then the next trip, he came for 2 weeks. And then the next year, he came for 3-4 weeks, went back. So it just kept on, his trips here just kept on extending. And it's because every time he came, there was a new aspect to the business. We were making fresh squeezed lemonade at that point, just squeezing, literally just squeezing.
And all of this was done manually back?
Everything was manual. It's crazy, like a lot of cutting and squeezing, and consistency sometimes takes starting ugly. We started in a very ugly way. Everything was very crude, very ugly, manual, and all we were focused on is just better. Not perfect, not good, just better. Every day we were just focused on getting a little better. It's amazing because, you know, it was one of our mentors, Auntie Baker. I'm just gonna be dropping names. These are just fantastic people that have helped us along this journey. She came and she saw what we were doing. She knew a little bit of my history and my story. So she was like, why are you in Nigeria, Stanford kid? What are you doing here? And then you're making smoothies. And she just saw that I was just like excited to be creating something. And so she was just like, hey, there's this thing called NAFDAC. You should get NAFDAC. We had a line of students. We were busy pumping and squeezing.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like, hey, why don't you just put this thing in a bottle? That night is when the business actually started. because he was just like, put it in the bottle, let's make it a little easier. One big thing was inventory management. There was a lot of loopholes in our operations. We were picking up old bottles and people were laughing at us.
Oh, really?
We're doing sweepers work, we're doing that.
Oh,
but
yeah?
we literally picked up bottles, went home that night, got a new toothbrush, washed out inside, and next day we made 10 bottles of lemonade. That night we only sold 2 bottles and everybody was like, you see, like nobody wants the bottles, it's only the cups, let's keep going. We sold like 170, 180 cups, 2 bottles. But at the end of the night, like we came with 10, we were able to count 8 more bottles. So we were like, wow, now we can keep track of what we actually are really selling. You know, the cups, there were just
interesting.
too many
you don't even know the amount.
Yes. So we thought we were making progress, but every time you looked up, it was like, oh, that's a funny movement. So we started making the lemonade that way, started putting it in bottles, and before you knew it, within a month or 2, we started selling more bottles than cups. We went from picking bottles ourselves to everybody on the team at the end of the night picking bottles, to there were these old ladies that would walk around like picking up bottles and they'd have, you know, big bags of bottles. So we hired some of them.
So even at this early stage, you already were building like sort of like a mini team.
Yes. I mean, from the very beginning, you know, so we were athletes. There's so much in life you could just kind of relate to sports. So for us, everything is just about like, one, we don't play to have fun, we play to win. Again, with the way mom and dad brought us up is, you're gonna move fast, move alone, you're gonna move far, like move together, right? Like one of the most fulfilling parts of this journey for me has just been like building people. You're the leader, you know, but you're not really a leader unless you have other leaders that can challenge you and are actually driving things on their own to move things forward.
So what's this place that we're currently at now?
This is the headquarters of Wilson's Juice Company. This is actually where my bedroom was when I was first in Nigeria for like, I think 13, 15 months. A little shed with a little floor. I had a little Eni that I would sleep on and roll up.
Eni, that's mat.
Oh yeah, a little mat, yeah, sorry. I had a little mat that would be like my bed at night, roll it up, put it behind the desk, and that was my office during the day. Small, compact, you know, but we make a lot of happen.
I can see some old pictures.
Way back. So I was serving when we first started the business. I did a program called Saeed, and that's where I learned about preservatives. This factory that you see now, this is how we started. We were
I can see somebody
hand juicing.
Yeah.
Hand juicing.
So what does the name Wilson's mean?
When we first started, we're not formally trained business people, right? Okay. But we play to win. Anything we do, we play to win. And we get very early on, we decided, you know, we're proudly Nigerian, but we're trying to be globally relevant. So we wanted a name that sounded, that was easy to pronounce, number one, and then meant something, right? So Wilson's has a lot to do with pride, integrity, XYZ. Like we research names. Some people say Wilson's, whichever way, it's still Wilson's. Proudly Nigerian, but globally relevant, could sit on the shelf anywhere. We're proud to be different, right? When everybody was doing the round bottles, we had square bottles. And then better is that emphasis, not on being perfect, not on competing with anybody, just we want to be better than we were yesterday. That's like the underlying philosophy behind everything we do.
What motivated you to, you know, leave USA and come down to Nigeria? A lot of people are living here, going there. What do people say, like, are you, like, were you crazy?
Okay?
Are you okay?
That's it, are you okay?
Are you okay? Like,
in a very simple way. So one of my closest mentors when I was in school was a guy called Professor Clough. And it was like a very, you know, very direct, kind of blunt dude. And one thing that he said, I was taking a civil engineering course with him. And towards the end of the course, he said something that really struck me. He was like, what disappoints me, many of you Stanford students, is you come to one of the best schools in the world, you get the best education, and then you go out and you settle. And you have kids that go like no-name schools, and they go out and they change the world. So he was like, so look, all of you guys have a decision to make. You're gonna live a life of comfort, or you're gonna live a life of impact. For me, it really kind of like struck a chord that my first job out of school, I was making more money than my parents made after 25 years in the US. You know, I was able to send money home, I had a house, I had cars. I was making too much money for my age. And it was like, it was very comfortable. And it just kind of kept on ringing in the back of my mind, like life of comfort or life of impact. What I saw in Nigeria was an opportunity to make impact, and I saw also an opportunity to make a lot of money. And we've been doing it. You know, the money hasn't come pouring in yet. Clearly, we've made a lot of impact. We're employing directly 60, 70 people. Indirectly, we have 300-400 farmers in our network. You know, we have some people that are working with us on contract basis, you know, sales and merchandising across the country. And now we're trying to flip it into like that money side starts to needs to start coming in.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned something now that struck me. Where do you get your products from?
So we get it from all parts of Nigeria. We got a little bit north, Kano, Kaduna side.
Oh, really? So definitely what you're doing is impacting a lot of farmers out there.
The lady that we bought the first small bucket of lemons from, she still supplies us lemons. She only supplies us like a bag or two at a time. So now it's just off of like GP. She was with us from the beginning that we're still, patronizing her. And every now and again I see her and she like says prayers and she's like, I sent my child to university off of this business.
Oh, wow.
Blah, blah, blah. Who would know? My mom that's selling lemons as a graduate now. And she's still like 1-2 bags we're buying. These are lemons, these are limes.
Lemons, limes.
So some are green, some are yellow. What we do is we wash everything here. So all that gets done out here, depending how many lemons we get. Sometimes we get 50 bags, sometimes it's 100 bags. So we do all the pre-treatment out here before we take it inside for a final rinse, and then now we start to juice. So this is after production, it comes back out here. I think we're loading some out right now.
Oh, okay.
So we get some people, different parts of the country, dealers, retail outlets that we're supplying.
Guys, the last time I wore lab coat was when I was in secondary school. When we were doing chemistry practical. And when I died, I still did not pass.
So this is our finished goods store. As we produce, we're producing against demand. We take into consideration how the orders come in, how we supply, the shelf life, and our production dates. So everything is like extra precaution until after that cap gets on the bottle. So all this we were doing by hand before, but now it's semi-automatic, getting closer to fully automatic. You wanna carry a couple?
Yeah, I want to carry one.
Is this cool now?
Yeah. So I'm ready to jump in here,
Yeah.
Okay. This is style, I know. Still,
This back. This one, special edition.
So like how many of these bottles do you produce in a day?
Our capacity is about 5,300 bottles per shift per line.
I can also see different types.
Yes, we have different brands.
It seems like this is alcoholic or something.
Yes. This one is it's called Troops Hot. This one we try to spice it up a little bit for people who like to go out, who like to have a bit more of a fun time.
When you're very thirsty, you just come to this stage. So you pick out one. This is, you're going to party and you want to mix something with your NSC. NSC 250, So how do you come up with your flavors?
With each of our products, there's a story behind it. And all these stories is like a real life story. So Wilson's, the old fashioned, has Mama Grace and lemons falling off of a truck. And that's just like, when life throws you lemons, make lemonade, right? So make something out of every negative situation. When we came to Fifun, this is a different brand, Fifun Todos. Our goal is to make health living more fun. And we realized our Wilson's brand was getting pushed further and further towards premium. So we came up with another brand to do that specifically, right? So that's how we came with Fifun.
You're a storyteller with your products.
With our products. With our products, maybe, yes. Not as good at telling stories as you are, of course, but we're trying to do something that's for everybody. We want to be accessible. We spent about 2 years trying different formulations. Google's our friend, YouTube is our friend when it comes to learning about recipes and learning about processes.
So what you're trying to say is you learned a lot on Google and YouTube from just the internet.
Those are our teachers. Like, I studied history and philosophy.
Are you guys hearing there? All those people are always like, okay, I don't know how to learn this. You have a phone in your hand.
I don't know how. I don't know how is no longer an excuse. Not in this day and age. How we even learned how to manufacture. We Googled how to preserve juice. And it took us to a 4-page study. And in those 4 pages, we learned about sorting, processing, pasteurization, bottling, preservatives. 4 pages. Having to search and being able to just focus on, we need to learn what we need to do, not what machine we need. And so we were able to now, use the tools that we have to fulfill the purpose that we needed. People don't believe it. We started with 2,000 naira, but it was like, no, we started with 2,000 naira and hours of research and a lot of trial and error with, 10 naira, 20 naira. We didn't have 1 million naira to burn.
Yeah? You're just trying out small scale.
We were trying small scale.
And do you feel that helped you learn it better than if you had plenty money at your...
I tell you, 100%. So because we weren't trained, we were able to start from the foundation, the basics of what is the goal you're trying to accomplish. And there are many different ways, you know, on our Waja. Right?
No, not only
there are many roads
to
one market, something like this, right? There's no excuse for failure. You need to find a way from what you have. So from that 2000, we were able to now say, okay, how can we do it? We went from a plastic juicer to a squeezer. Before we went to build a manual of a machine that was crushing. Before we, like, it was step by step.
I remember you saying something earlier. You said most of the machines here was built here.
Yes.
Why did you decide to locate your business here instead of like the popular Lagos?
This is the only place we have property. At that point in time, it was like, all right, you spend money on getting a prime location somewhere, or you spend money getting going with what you're trying to do. Using what you have to get what you want at all points in time. Not waiting until you get what you need to then do what you want. No, use what you have to just take the next step, right? So we've been, again, create better. That better is just better than we were yesterday. Is this moving in the right direction? Let's go. Is it ideal? No. Is it the ideal situation? Is it the ideal location for a factory? No. But this is what we have.
So it's more like, how could you extract the juice from the lemon of this location?
Look,
which you've already extracted.
And everything is about how do you make lemonade from lemons. As soon as you wake up, everybody's just throwing lemons.
Give us some of the stories of bitter lemons building a business in Nigeria.
One of the biggest challenges is people. Like, it poses one of the best opportunities, but is actually the biggest challenge. There's education and certification, and then there's education that teaches one how to think, or just people just being curious on their own. And it's been challenging finding people who have that natural curiosity. So there's a lot of yes sir, yes man. Is like we've been trying to teach people to say why, argue,
ask questions,
give your own head is important for us. There's no really like black and white answer. There's no right answer. There's different levels of rights, different levels of wrong, and then there's a lot of confidence that you have to build in yourself to be able to argue for what you think is right, not what you know is right, what you think is right. Second is this environment. I've been in Nigeria now 13 years. It's just realizing that, the bigger we get, the more we're exposed to the elements of, Nigeria. It's not the electricity, it's not the bad roads. The core of this is, just a deep-seated, deep-rooted poverty mentality that feels like, somebody has to lose in order for you to advance.
To win,
They see Wilsons everywhere, and these are now just like specifically government agents. We thank God for the progress, and we're not ungrateful, but it's so far from where we're going, and we feel like we're just starting to scratch the surface of the potential of this business. But it seems like every agency around us feels like, now we've hammered it, now it's time to reap. You're eating the seeds before we've even had time to germinate. If you must eat a little less. Don't eat with both hands and mouth and everything open. Just take it slower, let this thing grow, and it will feed many, many more people for generations.
What do you see as the future of the company? And also, are you open to investment in the future?
We have an expansion model that is unique to this environment, but is very basic and very simple. Our goal from inception, A127, be Africa's most valuable natural beverage company by December 31st, 2027. Everything we do is towards that goal. We're open to the right investments. Right? Money is one aspect to success in this environment. And I think anybody who feels like all I need is money doesn't really understand business. Yeah, we're open to the right type of investors.
There's a spot in Lekki that I always go to go and eat amala. That's where I used to buy Wilson's lemonade after eating amala and
lemonade and amala, wonderful.
After eating amala and begiri. So, what's your advice to a lot of young entrepreneurs out there who are looking to, start something all over Africa?
I'll say it, and many people won't want to hear it. There's no pride in entrepreneurship, and there's no shame in being an employee. What we need to reorientate ourselves is to focus on where we're adding the most value. My income that I'm taking from this company is 1/10, if not less, than what I was making 13 years ago. I'm saying that because most people think like, entrepreneurship is the way to great wealth.
Yeah.
That is a path to great wealth. That's one of many. Another path to great wealth is just adding tremendous value. No matter where you are, if you're adding tremendous value, you will become wealthy, especially on this continent. Right? So, I want to be an entrepreneur, The question is like, why? If you really understand your why and can answer that why to 2-3 levels deep, you may be better suited going to go work for a company that's entrepreneurial, or being the number 500 person in a very steady, successful business, but your contribution makes that company a little bit more successful. Don't focus on being an entrepreneur, focus on adding value. And if that means you need to start something on your own, great. And majority of us will fail, that's just the reality. I'm focused on failing forward continuously, but many people rush into, I want to have my own business, I want to be an entrepreneur. They have no business doing it. That is not sexy. It's a lot of hard work. It's extremely lonely. There's nobody, there are few people who will understand the amount of stress and pressure that you're going to be under. Most people would be extremely valuable as a part of a company, not the head of a company.
Thanks a lot for sharing your story, and thanks a lot for sharing the Wilson story. I'll keep drinking Wilson. If you're interested in learning more about the company or reaching out to them, maybe you want to supply or you want to buy in bulk or you want to use it for your restaurant or whatever, reach out to them. I'm going to link them in the description below. And yeah, guys, that's all we have to share with you today. If you like this video, as always, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.